Good day, everyone. We came back with a whole new episode. This time we have as always, we have a special guest from everywhere around the world. She's a nomad and a very interesting backgrounded person we have today. And her name is Sara Benamar. She's a optometrist. Her profession is optometrist, and then we're gonna deep dive into what that profession is very soon. And before that, she contains very good background, very international background, and also she's a first ever person who came to the podcast with the Islamic religious background, and that will be a very good topic to touch. And also Buddhist philosophy believer and yogi. There's tons of stuff that we can talk about because she's passionate about art in general, which is everywhere in our life. And first of all, thank you very much for visiting our country to meet up with me. You know, destiny
Baila.
brought you over here.
Baila.
Thank you. And I would like to start with I would call international background, which is you were born in Algeria, moved to France, and moved to Latin America, and now you settled down in Guadeloupe, I guess, and
Right.
you're moving all around the world. And what was your key to have this very huge perspective in life? You know, art and health and yogi and all those things. So let's start from the beginning, where you were born.
Once upon a time.
Yep.
I think the answer would be maybe at the beginning of my story, because I used to be born in Algeria, so it's in the North African part. And my community, few thousand years ago, and until now, for some part of, is nomadic people. You know the Tuareg blue mans in the desert of the Sahara. They move from a place to another one. So I don't know, maybe it's a part of my blood, or maybe it's part of my education or of my culture, of my curiosity. I don't know. Maybe a mixture of all of this. So yeah, I grew up in Algeria, and I had the opportunity to have an Arabic and Islamic education in a really interesting country which has been colonized by several civilizations.
Yes.
So we are a mixture of French, Spanish, Turkish, Italian, Roman, not Italian, Arabic invasions during several years. So take all of this, mix them, and you'll have an amazing cook.
Yes. At least.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You know, living in such diverse places, what are some cultural experiences that influenced your personality these days? Like, from the beginning, your identity got formed, having influence from all these diverse cultures, right?
For sure. And we haven't, please.
Which one is the strongest one that you have now?
Since I used to be born, Algeria was the biggest colony of France. So France is still a huge part of our culture. I mean, we see TV in French. In the same sentence, in Algeria we have a dialect. In Arabic countries we have dialects. It's not the classical Arabic that we learn at school. So, for example, for my dialect, in the same sentence, you have a mixture of French and Arabic words. So I considered myself as much French than Algerian. I mean, I used to be born in Algeria. I love this culture. I love those people. And at the same time, France gave me so much in my life. And it used to be the country of the freedom. So depends of what. So yeah, I think it's really a balance between those two, which makes Sarah who he is.
And, right after hearing from you that your passion is history and art, right? And in history, not everything was cool and easy, peaceful, but there was when it comes to France, colonization plays huge role in the history of France, right? And being a woman from Algeria, and now you're living in a Caribbean
French islands.
Yep. And I would call it French invasion to all those islands and all those other cultures. And now, in which side you stay? Do you choose sides? If someone asks you, like me, or like
if I have to, will you be able to choose between your brother and your father and your mother? I mean, it's really interesting to compare, for example, Algeria and Guadeloupe. We used to be a French department, and it was a really, really, really hard and dark colonization.
Yes.
The history was really dark. And my grandparents used to fight against France. My grandma is a really important person in my life, and I'm really... I heard a lot of stories about what happened, so I'm conscious about that. In Guadeloupe, on the same time, they had slavery, and it's really dark part of the history as well, which is not that nice for France. But the main difference between those two parts of the world is that Algeria won her own independence. So we were kind of winners. So we have a kind of peace with that, even if France didn't recognize
independence.
Crime of war, and but for sure the whole world recognized independence of Algeria. The difference when you see Guadeloupe right now is that they didn't really won. The slavers had money to get to leave the slaves free. So it's a weird part of the history as well. So that's why I think most of Algerian people, especially of my generation, are peaceful with France. I mean, it's part of history, but we could have
you guys moved on.
Yeah, we could have same issues with Turkish people like 600 years ago, or Spanish people. I think we moved on.
So, nomadic lifestyle is the one that we believe that Mongols, the only ones have it by this time of year or this era, I would say it. And, hearing your life is as much as we do, you are nomad too. And
I think so.
Yeah,
kind of.
These lifestyle, having this kind of nomadic lifestyle, and being a Muslim, and you got Buddhist influence. I don't know how you got that, and I would like to know what was the reason that you started believing philosophy of Buddhism right beside the Muslim Islamic religion.
As I told you, I'm really curious. So I wrote about several religions. I the main holy books. I wrote the main holy books. I'm a lot into philosophy as well, so I believe in Kant, for example. And for Buddhism, it was not a research, it was a meeting. During my travel, I don't know how, it was not in my plans. I arrived to India and I spent a few months there, and I had the opportunity to learn yoga and yoga philosophy. And that's how I saw so many according points in all the main important philosophy or religion of the world. You know, so the main message is love every time. And the only difference is how to practice or how to try to reach God or universal love, or call it like you want. But during my yoga philosophy classes, I had some information about how all of those stories used to be born and created or arrived. I don't know how to tell it really. Depends of what you believe.
You can tell it in French.
No, I mean, depends of what you believe. For example, some people will say that religion is an invention. Some people will say it's creation, it's a mixture, or it's creation of God. So it depends of what you believe. That's why I'm trying to use several words for saying the same thing. So, and during my practice of yoga, for example, I saw that, you know, do you practice some yoga?
Once in a while.
Okay, so you know the sun salutation.
Yeah.
When you see, I was doing my practice, so my sun salutations, and at one time I was just, wait, it looks like a Muslim prayer. When you look at the Muslim prayer, it's like a smallest sun salutation. I mean, the arms are not that up, but you still do that, and it's the
Similar,
same ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just wondering and thinking about it, and remembered that at school we learned that Muhammad, the prophet, Islamic prophet, has been until India, until China, through India. And in my yoga philosophy, we learned that Muhammad and Jesus just has to be yogi as well. So maybe. So it's many questions which I still ask and wonder. I don't know. So I think for our generation, it's more about spirituality than religion. You know what I mean? I think it's important to have several culture and to take what makes sense for you.
Yogi. So, how many % of your daily life is dedicated to yoga? Do you do yoga every day, or depending on the weather? Or,
To be honest, until this summer, it used to be 1 hour every morning.
1 hour every morning.
Until this summer. I used to be sick this summer, so until July, I used to have an excellent discipline. So now I'm trying to get it back.
So, for people who's watching us, maybe there's a people who do not do yoga. Maybe they don't have this experience or the perspective of yoga right. So please give them advice why they should do yoga.
Who am I to give advices? No, you know, I had a depression when I was younger. And I had a huge back pain.
Back pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was not something planned. I met yoga and I tried it, and I saw so many nice stuff arriving through my body and even more through my mind. So thanks to that, I become super peaceful, and it's so helpful in your life. So even more when you practice, it becomes a kind of drug, you know. It's like it's a mixture of sport, the kind of drug you can have through endorphin, which act on your brain. I mean, it's only about giving information. Your body sending chemical information to your brain. And at the same time, you have breathing, which is a huge part of yoga. Yeah, pranayama. So thanks to that, you're able to have an action on your heart and on your breathing, through your breathing, and to manage a lot of problems of life. You know, when you see your heart going so fast or not enough, you can be conscious of that and act on it. So it's kind of power you have on your body. And we don't realize it, I think, in our days. If you don't practice yoga, we're so much into rush. So we don't listen to our bodies anymore.
Just now you mentioned about you were having a depression. So can I know the cause?
I used to be young. I was the day of my 19th. I lost one of my best friend in a car accident. She was coming to pick me up, and
I'm sorry.
no problem. It's life.
Yeah. Yes, that's life.
So it was a bit complicated to manage when you're young, but that's life.
That's life. What is the meaning of كيف حالك?
How are you? How are you?
So how you respond to it? بخير?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah?
Yeah, it means I'm thankful.
Okay. So now that I have a person who speaks Arabic for the first time, we're gonna go through a few Arabic words.
Yalla.
Yalla. So كيف حالك is I think the most popular greetings, right, in Arabic language. Or
Probably.
it's a non-religious greeting, right?
It's just how are you? So
or
hey.
Hey. So it could be WhatsApp, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So how do you say how is the weather outside?
Do you want it in classical Arabic or in my dialect?
Okay, let's compare them.
Okay. So tell me the sentence again.
What's the weather outside? What's the weather outside?
كيف الحال?
كيف الحال?
This is in classical Arabic.
Okay.
And my dialect is كيفاش لا ميتيو?
كيفاش
لا ميتيو.
ميتيو.
كيفاش
لا ميتيو
means how is, and la météo is in French. That's how I told you. The first part of the sentence is in Arabic, and kind of Arabic dialect modified, and French. So
wow, you guys, you people have so much words as compared to us that we have only one language, right? So you guys mix Arabic and French, and there's both separated and both mixed up.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a three form of speaking.
Schizophrenic languages.
Schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's cool. So for a person who learning Arabic, can you tell the beauty of Arabic language for those who's interesting to learn? I would like you to give some advertising for Arabic language for our listeners.
I think the most simple to get the beauty of Arabic language is to see how it is written.
Oh.
It's an art itself. I mean, when I used to study art, I had a lot to do it in Algeria as well. And we studied calligraphy. It's how to write nice letters, one behind the other and behind the other to have shapes. And so it's really interesting. And for speaking, I mean, it's a really, really, really rich language. The vocabulary is huge comparing to French or English. For example, to say lion, you know the animal, you have 5 several words according to how you put it in a sentence. Yeah, the context.
So 5 ways.
I don't know all of
lion.
them. Yeah, I forgot. But yeah, it's just an example. I mean, it's super hard.
Can you say one of them just?
Yeah, for sure. Sba.
Sba.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nearly that. You know what is funny is that when I arrived in Mongolia, I heard so many people speaking Mongolian, and I saw your writing as well.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering that for me, for the moment until now, I think your language is the most cross language to Arabic.
Sounds similar.
Instead of Hebrew, because it's the same origin, but instead of Hebrew, yeah, it sounds lots of similar. You know, for example, the moon is nar, and nar in Arabic means fire. So is it the origin? I don't know. So I'm discovering several interesting meeting points between Arabic and Mongol. And the sounds are really, really close. So I think if you, as Mongolian people, want to learn Arabic, it will be much easier for you than for an European or even for a Spanish guy, you know, who already have ra, ha, ha, ta, sha, va, which are sounds that you cannot find in French or English.
Yeah. Our words pronounced very like back part of our tongue.
Yeah.
Right?
In French, you call that guttural. It comes from this part, so guttural.
Cultural. Yup. So let's dive into your profession. At what age you decided to have this profession? What was the clue that you found that I need to study this? And
it doesn't work like this, you know. I don't really have plans in life. Since I'm a child, I have dreams.
Your plan is to make plan, huh? Oh, you don't have a plan.
I receive.
You
I follow the flow.
Oh, wow.
So when I was young, for example, I dreamt of being an archaeologist, of being a writer, a journalist, or stuff like this. When they asked me what I wanted to do, that's where my answers when I was a young girl. When I arrived at the end of my primary studies, I had to choose, and I have a scientist family, so they were just, you have to choose a normal, good, traditional job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started with architecture, architecture for 2 years. I didn't like it. Then I didn't know really what I wanted to do, so I went to the university where I was able to study a lot of physics and maths. I was interested into that, and it was during a small time, so I had the time to think about what I want to do. And optometry was one of the specialties options, so it was a double master of physics and optometry. So I had the scientific medical part, which was interesting to me, and which goes with my need to help other people. I like to say when I speak about my work that I help people to see la vie en rose. And at the same time, I had physics, a master of physics, which permits me to have some answers and to continue to search and to use hardly my brand, so physics, and maybe to even start asking or having some answer with the quantics, physics quantics. You say quantics?
Quantum?
Quantum?
Quantum physics?
Quantum?
Yeah.
In French, it's quantique. I'm
Quantique.
sorry. Quantum physics, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a small part of reaching God as well. I don't know. So that's how I became an optometrist, because these studies permits me to have several stuff to study, and
Such
as I told you, the eye, how it works, how it goes until the brand, how what are the light. I studied light. I'm a light lover. I mean, it's impressive when you see how it works, how it can be divided into several. Now it becomes complicated to speak about it with you in English, because I learned it in French. Les longueurs d'onde, and frequencies, frequencies, and how each color has its frequency and how it acts together, and how it changes when you go from air to the water and from the water to the glass, and it was super interesting.
I have a small question about the color, and
be kind.
Yes, I'll be kind. I'll be kind. And
it's old.
RGB, right? Red, green, blue.
Yeah.
That's the fundamentals of all the colors, right? So
in art, not in physics.
Okay, whatever. So what I've heard is pink. The color pink. It's not the color that we see. It is pink, but the brain believes that color is pink. So actually there's a confusion between our conscious and the reality. So brain produces the signal that gives us the color pink is pink, but in reality we could say that's not pink. So is it true?
It is. And actually, it's not only with pink. It's funny. I think it's a nice way to show how everything depends of your viewpoints.
Perspective.
Everything is about your perspective. But to be more scientist and to answer easily to that question, the way I see the red will be obligatory different than the way you see it, even if none of us have any eye problem. So it's about how the behind of our eyes is done. We have two kind of cells which are called in French cône and bâtonnet. I'm sorry for its translations. And they are the part of the behind eye which will send the information to the brain. So once again, it's about our background, how we are made, and how the information is collected and interpretations. So isn't the case for everything in the world, not only the colors.
That's very fascinating to
think
study.
About it.
And
It is.
So what other part that we have to know about optometry that's for study that maybe there's people who wanted to know and might choose this path to study, right?
You don't have several countries which have this studied. I mean, it's really famous in Japan, US, Canada. As an optometrist in Canada, you earn much more money, for example, than a doctor. So you have it in UK, Spain, Algeria, just a bit in France, but not that much. So you have to choose a country where it's an ocean first. You will not find it everywhere. And otherwise, it's really interesting because you're in the middle of a kind of scientifical doctor informations, but at the same time, technical, small industry of glasses and lenses. You're able to design shapes. You're able to use your hands at the same time. So it's a nice balance between using your hands and staying connected with old way to work or a simple way to work, and using your brand by analyzing and understanding how your eyes is acting, what are your needs, do you have any disease. So yeah, it's a nice balance between those.
So how huge is this role of being optometrist in your life? So I see that your life is every day is a new day, and you like to be free.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, free spirit. So
it's actually a small part of my life or of my journey. I mean, I have to work for sure. I have bills to pay, airplane tickets to pay as well. But I mean, in my mindset, it's only a way to resolve my money problem and to be sustainable. But it's only an occupation like a sport or like cleaning my house. I mean, it's one of the so many points I have to manage in my daily life. And I don't give that much importance to my work. I mean, I like what I do. As I told you, I like to say that my occupation is to help people to see la vie en rose. It's kind of mantra or fancy way to present myself. But I have to like it. Otherwise, I'll be crazy. But it's not that important. It's only manner to get what I want. And in some cultures, it's not that important as it can be in Asia, for example.
Yeah. If you hear from my parents' generation, they always tells us that you have to be consistent at what you do, and 9 to 5 work for 20 or 30 years, and that's the way of life. And stay still and be consistent at the work life, and don't
move much
around, right? So, but now, based on what you said and based on how you're living, by the time, it's not the way of them generations. I mean, the
Not
generation of my parents is totally different, right? So let's imagine that you and you debating with them about this way of life is better, and their choice are...
I don't have to imagine. It's a huge discussion that I had several times with mine.
Let's go.
So, as I told you, my parents they have a scientific profile.
Okay. Yes.
So they have normal lives. My father is an architect. He teaches at the same time at the university. And they're just asking me to have a normal life. I tried to have a normal life when I was younger. I mean, when I ended the university, started working, having a company, getting married, those kind of stuff. They asked me to do, I mean, not they asked me to do, but society asks you to do. I mean, since you grew up, people tell you what you should check.
Yep.
What are the point check to have a successful life? But as much as I was going through life and doing answering to the society expectations. As much I was so sad. I mean, I got so many stuff. Alhamdulillah, once again, I'm thankful. But at the same time, I was so empty, and I didn't understand why. So that's how I started looking for something else. I tried other jobs. I used to work in insurances. I've been real estate broker in Paris, and it was so funny. And I got some money of that. So I realized that it's not an obligation to work in the path of what you studied, you know. So you realize that university give you keys to think about stuff or how to manage stuff. But I think we're in a generation where we're not supposed anymore to stay
at the same place, at the same job.
For your whole life. It's not possible anymore. I think it has been. It has been. So let me tell you that it was super complicated to explain that. Even if I'm super, super thankful and super lucky because I have an amazing family. We're able to speak with each other transparently and with a lot of respect. So even if I'm a daughter and we have traditions, I mean, I need to respect my father, you know, an Arabic father, an Arabic mother. It's a mess. So I have to, but still, I'm not considered as a stupid little girl. You know what I mean? So if I'm speaking, mostly now, if I'm speaking with my father nowadays, it's super interesting because I give my viewpoint, he gives his viewpoint. Each of us will go take a coffee, think about it, and come back and say, so, I thought about what you said. This, I agree with this point. I don't with this one. Maybe you should think about it. And it's in the two ways. But it doesn't used to be like this before. I remember one call. My mom, I was in Paris. I was real estate broker. No. On that time, I was managing a French company which was designing, producing, and selling online pair of glasses and lenses. They have their own factory in China. They were based in Holland. I was using English to speak with my colleague all over Europe. It was super interesting. I had a really cute Parisian apartment, and I did all this by myself without my parents' help. So my mom came to visit me, and she was so happy to see me taking my bike and going to work in the first arrondissement of Paris, you know. And she was just, proud. My girl reached the goal.
Yes, she's doing fine.
Yeah, we've been to nice restaurants. She's a food lover, so I am as I am. But we did the best restaurants of Paris. We did the gay pride. We partied, with my mom. It was the first time. So it was really interesting. She came back and I was trying to buy a beautiful, tiny apartment of 19 square meters in Paris, which is nothing horrible. So she was super proud. She came back to Algeria. And 1 week later, I called her and I quit my job. She was just, okay, you never took more than 3 days to find a job. You were not good on it. Your mind health is the most important. Good choice. But what about the bank? Will it follow you for your apartment? I was not, no anymore. So what will you do? And I told her I just bought an airplane ticket. And the day after tomorrow, I'm going to Buenos Aires in Argentina. You know, Argentina is in South America. And my dad's name is Emin. I heard my mom at the phone. I mean, I don't support your daughter anymore. She's going to the parks. Help me manage your daughter.
Uh-huh.
So my choices used to be super hard for them generation. Even when I wanted to start to learn how to teach yoga, my dad was okay. Just if you want to waste your money once again, do what you want. I don't have any power on you anymore, and you okay. And we had this conversation like 2 or 3 years later, and I was so happy because he was just, oh, I'm so proud of you. What you made makes sense right now. You didn't knew that on that time, but it just permits you to get aligned with your path, and it's so helpful in your life. So well done. So I'm happy of that.
Mm-hmm. Planning a family, a personal family in this country starts since age 18, 20, 22, 23, 24 tops maybe. And they started hanging out and then starts living together mid-20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So having a baby and all those things starts before 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, now this generation that having early family, there's so much divorce going on. Maybe it's due to social media effect, I would say it. But I'm telling you this based on no studies, just my feelings, right? As compared to Westerners, they tend to plan their families after 35s, around 40s. And we are very different on that field.
Point.
So what's your plan on that topic? So how do you see yourself having your own family? Having a family is settling down, what I believe. But maybe there's a nomads lives a different
Right.
way. Yeah.
Thanks for the hardest questions. Okay.
Yeah.
As an African Algerian girl, we have the same system as you have. So, as I told you, society had this kind of expectations for me.
Rules. Yeah.
Rules as well. So I got married. My ex wanted children, but I really do believe that a child is a result of strong basis and love.
Mm-hmm.
I was not ready, and I was right. It was not the good person. I mean,
Not the right person.
Not the right person for that. Now, I'm still moving, enjoying, for sure. And I don't have expectations, to be honest. I mean, I do believe in something called maktub in Arabic. It means destiny. So, generally, it's not only about having children. I don't have any expectation. I just receive. So if you don't have expectations, you'll not have frustration. So as this, I'm okay. I would love to have someone in my life because I think it's really important to share some stuff.
Companion.
Exactly. And if he's sufficiently strong, why not? I don't know. That's maktub. It's not... I don't know if it's really on my hands. For me, it's God's plans. So if it has to come, it will. If not, God's plans. And I don't know if the fact that I move will impact that or not. But for the moment, I haven't to choose between those two options, for example. No one told me, just come, let's do a child. So it's not an option for me for the moment. So I'm still free. Why should I stay in the same place?
How you learn to not expect anything from life, and since when you started living with this perspective?
I think that my divorce was one of the best thing which arrives to me, because I was 27. I was fully in love of this guy, and it was super hard for me to choose and to accept that separation, even though I used to do it. I had to do it. So when everything is kind of blindy for you, at the moment you have to think and to say, okay, how does life work? How did it work until now? How does it work? And how can it work? Can it work? So I think that yoga and Buddhism helped me a lot for this. And I discovered another huge philosophy, which is Sufism. Sufism is a philosophy of, is a kind of Islamic path, which is based on love. So it's really close to Buddhism, actually. So I think those two kind of philosophy helped me a lot to have other perspective of life, and to realize that sometimes, mostly, you make plans, and it doesn't work like this. Life is just like a wave. You just have to try to be a good surfer. You don't choose the movements, but you just have to try to be nice on your board. Thank you. Exactly. So I think it comes from there.
It's really nice. And, we meet with people with more on other perspective side, which is not like you don't expect anything and going with the flow. So when we live in a business world, it's all about planning and calculating and see things ahead of the time, trying to see the future and forecasting as much as possible. That's the way of life around this corner. And now you came from all the way from Caribbean Ocean, and then you talking about this perspective hits me hard, and I hope it hits harder on people who's watching us, which is mostly a young generation. And there's an option of life, the option of living life with this way. And thanks for having a time for me and for my viewers.
My pleasure.
Share your lovely story.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for receiving me. It was so interesting. Thank you.
And what's your next stop? Where's your next stop? What's your plan?
You mean in life?
For travel.
For travel.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll leave Ulaanbaatar. I'll spend the night in Paris, and then I'll go to visit my little brother, which is a father since like 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to discover my niece. And then I'll go to...
Give him my félicitations.
Merci. And then I'll go to spend 1 week with our Algerian nomads, the blue men of Sahara. So I'll try to meditate and to enjoy the power of love and nature, or some people call it God, through the desert and the emptiness places, which can be so powerful.
Alhamdulillah.
Shukran.
So before you leave, I want to ask you about us, what's your first impression once you arrived in Mongolia?
Too meaty people. You eat so much meat, my friends. No. Mongolian people. I'll be honest. I am honest.
Yes.
You
No
look
hard feelings.
no. You look being so strong and so hard at the beginning,
Uh-huh.
but you're so respectful and so friendly. I really liked the huge freedom culture of nomadic people you still have. So it's not that often that you have the opportunity all over the world to still have the opportunity to catch this freedom through culture. So I was really, really, really impressed of that and happy for you. I hope that you'll be able to keep it even with modern time. Inshallah.
Thank you. And have a good trip.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Me too.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys, thanks for staying with us until now. And
Thank you.
see you next time. And I hope you enjoyed it. And May the force be with you.